Hi, my name is Ilia Stambler. I'm a researcher at the Department of Science, Technology, and Society in Bar-Ilan University in Israel, and I'm an outreach coordinator of the International Society in Aging and Disease. Thank you very much for inviting me to this conference, to the ICT Nigeria Fest. I'm happy to speak at this fest about my topic, which is longevity promotion. Seems unrelated, but really there is no longevity research and no longevity technologies without ICT technologies, without information and communication technologies. In my talk, I will tell a little bit what longevity technologies are and why do we need them and what should we do to get them. So I will go to my slides and I will try to talk a lot, but in a little time. So thank you very much again for your attention. As I said, my topic is longevity promotion. The issue of longevity promotion actually is divided into three subjects. First of all, feasibility. Is it possible to achieve longevity? Second, desirability. Do we want it? Third, what should we do to get it? The action. In order to get healthy longevity, we have to combat the thing that shortens our lives the most, which is aging, the degenerative aging process. Aging is the risk factor for most aging-related diseases such as cancer, diabetes, heart disease. So to cancel those diseases, to achieve healthy longevity, we need to get at the root of the problem, which is degenerative aging. This is a simple thought, but not many people think this way. For example, a lot of people don't even consider aging as a risk factor for disease or as a cause of disease, but think that it is a normal part of life which we cannot do anything about. But that is not the case. There is a lot we can do about aging to intervene and postpone aging. There are several specific processes, basic processes of aging, such as chronic inflammation, cross-linkage. These processes cause not just one, but several diseases, and there are means to intervene into these processes. There are means against inflammation, means to break the cross-links, means to replenish stem cells. And yes, it is possible to intervene into aging process and extend life. But a lot of these studies are still in the lab, and our task is to bring these studies from the lab to people. What are sources of hope for life extension, for healthy longevity? There are few. Life expectancy increases around the world. In Nigeria, it is now not very high, about 50 years, but there is no reason why it cannot increase very rapidly and very fast. In the developing world, in the last century, life expectancy increased by about 50 years. That is one source of hope. The second source of hope is the technologies, including medical technologies, accelerating. And once again, in order to get medical technologies, you have to understand and have ICT technologies, information and communication technologies. There is no law in nature that sets a limit to human lifespan, as in nature there are animals that live very long or don't even age. And there are animal studies, there are animal models where life extension was achieved, where life was extended by 40% in mice, or even 10 times longer in worms. So in principle, it is also possible for people, but more research is needed. Another source of hope, this whole research started very recently, about 100 years ago. Of course, people searched for long life since there were humanity for thousands of years, but the scientific search for long life started about 100 years ago with people like Elie Mechnikov, Brown-Séquard, who proposed the first scientific theory of aging, and based on this theory, also proposed the means to interfere into aging and prolong life. Such means as probiotics, hormone therapy, but these were just the first means. Later on, additional means were offered. Sometimes these means were strange, like transplantation of sex gland tissue or transplantations of animal testicles, for example, from the apes. These looked strange interventions, but these were important steps on the road of medical progress, and we should not laugh at them. After the Second World War in the 1950s, 1960s, medicine advanced greatly. There appeared such means as antibiotics, antioxidants, which could eliminate causes of damage on the one hand. On the other hand, we learned to replace things that are worn out in our body by artificial means, by bionic transplantations, and by biological transplantations. Almost every human organ could be transplanted from head to toe. And yes, both toes and heads were transplanted in the 50s. Heads were transplanted in the monkey in 1960s by the American William Wright, and then the dogs in 1950s by the Russian Vladimir Demikhov. And of course, toes and the legs and knees were and kneecaps were transplanted also. So this showed that it is possible to maintain human body as a machine. When something is worn out, it is possible to replace it. It is a very important proof of principle, and this is an idea that we now follow. Now the means to postpone aging come to the genetic level. There are means that can be enhanced to increase longevity. There are genes that can be suppressed to also improve longevity if these genes are associated with shorter lifespan. And of course, it is important to remember to look at genes as a whole. But at least in animals, one can manipulate genes to extend lifespan. There are so-called anti-aging or geroprotective medications to remove various toxins from the body, to supplement what our body needs. Once again, it is very important to remember the right dose, because as someone said, the dose makes the poison. Everything can become the poison if it is overdosed. But if we keep the right dose, there is in principle the possibility to use this to extend life. There are nanotechnological means, nanoparticles to eliminate unnecessary cells, such as cancer cells. There are microparticles to supply deficient oxygen. There is the program of strategies for engineering eligible senescence, remove sources of damage on the one hand, and replenish something that is missing on the other. The regenerative medicine develops greatly. On the one hand, there are means to eliminate senescent cells. On the other hand, there are means to produce or introduce into the body to regenerate the body from within the body or outside of the body by such means as scaffolds or 3D printing, three-dimensional printing of tissues and organs. So in principle, one can create a kind of shop for missing or worn out body parts. And also within the area of ICT, of information and communication technologies, there are great advances to extend life. First of all, very important, data mining, the ability to find the best life extending means or the best factors that correlate with healthy life, robotic surgery, artificial replacement organs, brain-computer interfaces, artificial replacement parts, exoskeletons. All these are information communication technology devices that can extend and enhance human life. All these means that we discussed were more or less mechanical. We see the body as a machine to replace the worn out parts, the aging parts. But we also should remember the good old means to extend life, like moderation in food, healthy food, moderate exercise, some more novel means like electromagnetic stimulation. And all these means are available to everyone and they cost almost nothing. So I hope by the use of such means, simple means, lifestyle means, and by the use of advanced health technologies, health and longevity in Nigeria could be improved, and hopefully as soon as better. So in principle, yes, it is absolutely possible to extend healthy life. But do we want it? That is the second part of questions, desirability. Do we want to extend healthy life if it is possible? And the answer is very simple. Yes, we want it. We want us to be healthy, we want our close ones to be healthy. And this thought was said by many philosophers in the past, also in our area, in North Africa, by the Jewish author Maimonides, but also by the British authors, by other Middle Eastern authors. The pursuit of healthy longevity is a unifying pursuit. It applies in Africa, and it applies in the Middle East, in Israel, in Europe. It is something that everybody wants. It is also not good in itself. It correlates with many other values that we have, such as education, income. When people have greater longevity, they usually have better education, better income, better quality of life. And conversely, when people have better education, when people have better quality of life, they live longer. So we can set longevity as a goal, and by achieving longevity, we also improve our life, we improve our education. All these things go together. And yes, longevity is correlated and related with education, with creativity, with prosperity, even with equality. In countries where there's more equality, people live longer, simply because public health is better developed. And even peacefulness, even pacifism is also related to longevity. A lot of people worry that longevity will cause, or very long life will cause our stagnation, will make people be bored with their life, will cause boredom, people will lose meaning in life. Actually, no, the opposite is probably true. A longer life allows people to learn, to change, to adapt, and life has a meaning of its own that we have pursued. A lot of people worry that greater quantity of life will be accompanied by worse quality of life. Actually, that is not necessarily so. There are people like centenarians, people who live 100 years and longer, who don't have any diseases, even though they live very long. And until they last, they keep their mental ability, their physical ability, they can work. So that is the model that we should pursue. A lot of people worry that there will be not enough resources, that there will be overpopulation. Actually, once again, the opposite is true. When people start to live better, the overpopulation becomes less of a problem, because there's more resources and people reproduce less, just automatically. When people live better, there are also more resources and better quality of life for everybody. Actually, it was calculated already in the 1960s that by the agricultural ability of that time, we could feed about 45 or 50 billion people back then in the 1960s. And since then, agricultural capability almost doubled in developed countries. So why there is still famine in some places, why there is not enough food for some people, mainly because of mismanagement, maybe because the right technologies are not applied. But in terms of technology, in terms of capability, there is no reason to expect shortage of resources or shortage of food. Actually, if we want to combat overpopulation, which is simply said, if we want to eliminate shortage of resources for people, we have to increase life expectancy. We see that in the West, in the developed countries, when life expectancy, when longevity is improved, also the life quality is improved. So also the so-called developing countries like Nigeria, if we want to improve quality of life, if we want to overcome a shortage of resources, we have to extend healthy longevity. So, okay, longevity is something we want. That is something desirable for the individual and something desirable for the society. So what should we do about it? Obviously, if there is something that we want, and if there is something that is possible to achieve, that we should probably try to get it for ourselves, for our loved ones, for everybody. We don't just sit and wait that something will come to us. We usually go after something that we want. So what should we do? First of all, we have to think of a program. If we want to achieve something, we have to think of a program how to get there, from here to there. So this program should probably include advanced technologies, also advanced information communication technologies, to improve the quality of life for the older people from the outside. The so-called geronto technologies, robotics for older people. All these things are needed to make the life of older people now easier. That is from the outside. But also from the inside, we can intervene in the aging process. We can intervene into the actual body of people with the means that we discussed, like regenerative medicine, nanomedicine, anti-aging substances. All these means from within and from without can combine to improve healthy longevity. But how do you actually make it? Is it only a work of scientists? No, it is work of everybody, of the whole society. We have to make it a topic of public discussion, like we are doing now at this conference. The whole society has to discuss how do we create those therapies, how do we make them available to people, who pays for them. And it is not just for the developed countries, for the rich countries. It is also for the so-called developing countries, for poor countries, because the cost of these technologies are coming down very rapidly. And the quicker we start to think about them, the sooner we can make them available for our people. It is too early to speak about any special recommendations. How do we make it a social priority? How do we make longevity a social priority? But some advice can already be given. We should give more funding for research, for longevity research. We should provide incentives to people who do this kind of research. We should create institutional bodies to advance this research. You cannot read it fast, but that's just some recommendation that our Society for Aging and Disease, International Society on Aging and Disease, developed. Once again, we have to give more funding to this research. We have to give incentives for research and development to improve longevity, to combat aging. And we have to provide social structure for this research and development and distribution for everybody. But these are all on the level of institution and even governments, but there are things that every one of us can do, no matter where, in Nigeria, in Africa, anywhere in the world. Every one of us, or a lot of us, most of us has access to knowledge, to libraries, to internet. We can educate ourselves about aging research, about medical research. We can learn related fields like medicine, biology, because all these fields can be directed to improve healthy longevity. We can join others. There are now groups in the world, almost everywhere in the world, groups of advocates, groups of researchers, also online in social networks. The organizers of this conference are also very active in the group called Longevity Nigeria that advances this field, Agbolade and others. And just participate in research institutes. There are several institutes in Nigeria who work on healthy longevity. For example, African Institute on Research and on Aging Research and Development, rather new institute. And there are groups emerging in universities all around the countries, but of course they need to be to get a better attention and more interest of people. And very simply, just be healthy, just lead a healthy, life-prolonging lifestyle. These technologies are important, and it's important to develop those technologies. It is important to bring those technologies to people. But even before those technologies arrive, everybody can lead a healthy lifestyle. Everybody can eat healthy, try to eat healthy, to do some exercise, or strive that people have healthy eating, healthy food, if it is not possible for some people. Yes, we know that a lot of people in Africa still have this problem, but at least it is something that can be done by relatively simple and cheap means. So once again, I'm very grateful for this opportunity to tell these things, to draw your attention to longevity research, to call you to become advocates for longevity research. And once again, ICT is very important for this. Without ICT, without advanced technologies, there is no development for longevity technologies. There is no increased knowledge on this field. And very simply, by increasing longevity, you will create additional incentive to bring additional technologies, additional prosperity to Nigeria, to Africa. And once again, I thank you. And I go back to my slide. And I stop. Again, wishing you the best of luck. Looks like this is going to be a very exciting series of events, and hopefully it's just the first in a series of many events in Nigeria to promote advanced technology, emerging technology, longevity technologies, and we'll be happy to be with you, to cooperate with you, to encourage you. Thank you once again.